morning, everybody. Michelle is here on a Thursday, February 26, 2026. February 26, 2026 on a Thursday. And I hope everybody's doing fantastic, magnificently, and marvelous because I am. Just had me some pieces of dark chocolate and yum. Very good, very good. So, oh man. I pay attention to a lot of things going on in the world. I can't help it. I feel like it's my responsibility to know exactly what's going on before I assume anything. Okay, even though there's no way I can necessarily know what's going on the west coast of the planet any more than I know what's going on the east coast of the planet or the north or the south. I'm talking about the planet as a whole. This blue pale dot, okay, called planet Earth. But again, if you understand the form of energy and you understand the butterfly effect and know that that's real, I think a lot of people would curtail their criminal negative behaviors and actions if they knew what they were doing, how they are projecting out this criminal negative energy, and it's going to come back and hit them. It's going to hit them with a force that is unmatched. And I know a lot of people want things to happen now. It's like, why don't this dictator, tyrant, so-called leader, why isn't he removed and take, well, unfortunately, this particular person is a stain on our humanity, and we caused it to happen. We caused this stain of our humanity in certain versions, not just in this particular version of a so-called leader, but we've allowed all of these consequences to happen. All of us, collectively. Okay, so once we get to that, so if you can get to that reality, I think you'll be less. It's disturbing. Let's not be delusional about what's happening now. It's disturbing, concerning, but I think you'll be less about. I would hope that you would want to be creative and consider other options and figure out, okay, what can we do to resolve this finally? I sense, okay, at some point, not in the distant future, but in the near future, some of you in your lineage, you're going to come to the end of the road. So what does that mean? And that's literally, figuratively, and metaphorically. I remember I used to have dreams about coming to the end of the road, I would come to a point in the dream where it was like, I didn't know where else to go. And I figured out on my own, through my own life experiences, that meant that the end of the road didn't mean the end of my life. It just meant I needed to take other avenues. I needed to take other paths. I needed to go take other journeys. And I did. And that's about how I'm thinking. Change the direction of how I am thinking. And that's how I knew, okay, I get it. Because I used to be concerned. I'm like, God, why did I keep coming to the end? I'll be like, say for example, I had this one dream. I felt like I was walking through a forest. And then all of a sudden I came to the end of that forest. And I didn't know where to go. So that's all that meant for me. And each one of us have to personally understand, the messages in our dreams. I was told, I think, that in most cases we are all dreaming in the same form, but we still have to figure out what that means to our lives individually. So a lot of people used to dream about being on. I still get these elevator dreams where I'll go inside an elevator. The doors close and I choose a floor. I attempt to choose a floor, and then all of a sudden I feel like I'm taking off into space. Like I'm on a spaceship or something. I'm taking off into space and going, And it's like and then I'll sit there and I'm going up and up and up and up and up, and I'm thinking to myself in the dream, okay, when is this gonna stop? And then I feel all of that pressure, in me, inside of my, in my stomach, and as if I'm being propelled up into the sky, And then I force myself to wake up, because it just seems like it's never ending. Up, 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 up. I still have not necessarily figured out, okay, what is really the meaning of that kind of dream. Because I know a lot of people dream about elevators. Some people have it in their songs. But again, we have to figure out on our own what that means to us. It could be literally taking off into a spaceship, right? And chances are is more figuratively and metaphorically. Some type of symbolism of something taking off into space, expansion of my consciousness, possibly. Who knows? But the great thing I sense about these times, our calendar year is off. We're not necessarily in 2026, but I'm not going to go into that because it creates esoterical conversations. People go all out. Oh my gosh. You mentioned one thing about one subject, especially UFOs. People will go insane with their theories and opinions about that. And, and they talk about lizards, and they talk about, lizard people, and these aliens with these huge giant heads, and blah, blah, blah. And it gets out of control. We are really, this type of, for example, I'll search for something on the social media platform, just searching because I'm attempting to make some decisions about something. I will be saturated with nothing but that type of material, instead of giving me some sprinkles of it and let me kind of contemplate my way through it. Nope. All of a sudden, it's just like a meal, and I've seen people do this literally online, where they are giving these reviews about food, and they'll have massive amount of food that they're supposed to be giving reviews about, knowing damn well they cannot eat all of that. And then in certain cases, they take it home and they still don't eat it because they stuff themselves so much with that food till it makes them sick. That happens to a lot of us. If you eat a certain type of food over and over and over again, you become sick, and you literally cannot eat it again. That's the same thing that we're doing metaphorically. We're consuming, and we cannot absorb or digest the nutrients of what we're consuming, and then we get sick at some point and sicken our consciousness, or we're not developing our consciousness properly. That's where we are. So I wanted to come on through today and just stress the importance of evolving your consciousness, because there are some people that are at the end of the road. They're at the end of the road, literally, meaning once they pass away, that's the end of it for their lineage. And they may wake up. When I say they may wake up, there may be a personality in a distant future that'll somehow come to be and be available. Be available to witness this planet being destroyed by the sun. What does that sound? Does that sound like science fiction to you? So, again, there's a lot of saturation of narratives out there, and I'm okay with it because I know how much I can eat, literally, figuratively, and metaphorically. I know how much I can consume, literally, figuratively, and metaphorically, and then I just leave it alone. I leave it alone. I'm not on these social media platforms all day and all night. Anytime I'm on here, I'm working. I'm literally working. When I'm on these platforms these days, I'm working, I'm researching. I'm attempting to expand my knowledge, expand my understanding, expand my comprehension. That's what I do. It's not entertainment for me. I'll I'll sprinkle in some entertainment, laughter. Some of these videos are extremely funny. Oh, the creativity of some people is just, that makes my day, actually, when I come upon people with these great sense of humor. They're so creative, and it's that's a skill and ability in and of itself. And I also told you as well, and this is what's gonna harm people the most is, you cannot fool your consciousness. Okay, I want that to be understood. So you can't pretend. You can't pretend that you understand and you're comprehending when you know in reality you're not. All you're doing is spinning, and you're going to spin yourself into a self-created, man-made dementia, because your brain cells are dying, because all they're doing is spinning. They're not going anywhere. You're not learning anything new. You're not changing your perspective. You're not opening yourself or expanding yourself to learn something different. You just want to keep the same thing going. And then on top of that, the bottleneck is literal, because of the overpopulation of people, animals, toys, this extreme hoarding. Figuratively, when it comes to how we're thinking and how we are swirling in this criminal negative energy of religion, politics, law enforcement of all entities, media outlets, the financial, it's all there, spinning. And a lot of us are swirling in that and attempting to apply the same concepts we used 10 years ago, 20 years ago, without advancing that and stretching. Okay, what does that really mean? A lot of people have no idea what the meaning of words are. They just love to hear themselves talk. They are auditories, they're usually very good looking, they're very appealing, and they love that. They love to hear the sounds of their voice. And it's regardless of what they're talking about. They can be talking about how they go in wiping their ass. They can turn that into entertainment. And I'm being literal about that, because everything is used as a commodity. Everything. There's a price to pay for everything we do. And that's literal, figuratively, and metaphorically. So, yes, a lot of people are using everything as a commodity. They're using people as commodities, how they can drain them and fleece them. Okay? But there's a consequence to everything. Okay, and the consequences are what you individually are going to face, because when you pass away alone. No one will be there. Nobody's going to be sitting there waiting on you. Get over that. Be prepared for that. A lot of people think, well, you're going to have a review of your life when you die. No, you won't. No, you will not. Okay, so get out in nature, make sure you're getting some sunlight. Make sure you pay attention to where you're walking, how you're walking, what are you thinking about, what do you hear. Make sure you stay grounded in your reality, so you'll be ready for anything that's coming our way. So many things are coming our way. People are sending out SOS, literally, figuratively, and metaphorically. A lot of people are sending out help signals. They need help. They're stuck. They're trapped. And a lot of it has to do with how they're thinking, and they don't realize they're emitting that type of energy, that they need help. They need help. That emergency signal going off in their minds and their consciousness, and that's literally, figuratively, and metaphorically. Okay, so that's enough for today. I'm going to stop right now and send peace and love all over the stars and moon and mountains. It is what it is, and we made it what it is. Take hold of your accountabilities and responsibilities, and no one has to know.